This is one of the most jam-packed years in gaming history. Even looking at the release calendar since August, we've had tons of high-profile games ranging from surprise indie hits all the way to AAA headline games. Sea of Stars, Baldur's Gate 3, Starfield, Mortal Kombat 1, Marvel Spider-Man 2, Super Mario Bros. Wonder, Alan Wake 2, the list just keeps going. And a few big games are still coming this year, including Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3, which is going to sell incredibly well, and Avatar Frontiers of Pandora, which I think has some potential just by the name alone. But behind the scenes, there's an entirely separate underbelly roster of releases that often doesn't drive the same buzz on social media or make the same headlines on the biggest gaming sites, and that's big updates for live service games. For Halo Infinite and Battlefield 2042, October marked a major milestone and arguably a turning point. 343 launched Halo Infinite Season 5 Reckoning, introducing a new weapon variant, 2 new maps, a new battle pass, forge improvements, and more. And meanwhile, DICE launched Battlefield 2042 Season 6 Dark Creations that dropped new weapons, a new map, a new battle pass, and more into their FPS. For Halo Infinite, Season 5 helped double the number of concurrent players on Steam, growing from about 7,000 players to 18,000 during the week of launch. And that might not be an impressive number compared to its all-time peak player count on Steam of more than 272,000, but it's a clear indicator that these updates are still driving attention. Meanwhile, it's a totally different story with Battlefield 2042. Following a free-to-play weekend on Steam and a steep discount to $10 the week after, Battlefield 2042 passed its all-time peak player count to set a new record of more than 107,000 concurrent players. And these players are sticking around. At the time of writing, the game currently has a 24-hour peak of 83,000 players. Now let's be honest, it's hard to really get an accurate reading on just how much these updates have moved the needle outside of the Steam player base. For both Halo Infinite and Battlefield 2042, they're available on the Xbox and EA apps, so that keeps us from really painting a full picture for the PC audience, and completely leaves out the potential hundreds of thousands of players that are still playing these games on consoles. But it's still clear these major seasonal updates have brought players back to the games, but it's still too late for both of them to hit their full potential. 2 years after a game's release, the updates that any developer puts in their game are designed for their core audience that stuck around for the long haul. I'm one of those people for Halo Infinite, having played the game nearly every week through the ups and downs since it launched in November 2021. And the game has never been better. It's packed with a strong and regularly updated roster of maps and modes, along with plenty of cosmetics to earn and seasonal and limited time event battle passes. But no matter how good Halo Infinite might be, how many Halo fans that dropped Infinite shortly after launch are really willing to spend their limited gaming time checking it out again in this overstuffed season of new games? Sure, some will go back, but a lot of players who might be on the fence will likely see friends playing Modern Warfare 3 and stick with playing the next big thing from fear of missing out. Battlefield 2042 is more of an anomaly. For a traditional game, not a free-to-play game like Fortnite, to hit an all-time peak player count on Steam 2 years after it launched is largely unheard of and is absolutely something DICE should celebrate. But even with Battlefield hitting new heights, it's hard not to think about what could have been if DICE had delivered on this quality and quantity of content at launch. Over the years, the team has completely redesigned map layouts and reworked in-game mechanics like the class system to be more like older Battlefield games, and clearly fans are enjoying the changes. But if the game had launched with these mechanics already in place, Battlefield 2042 could reasonably be sitting right alongside Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 as one of the go-to FPS games for millions of players. The unfortunate reality is that no matter how much these updates have improved either of these games, the narrative is still, "I heard this game is actually good now," instead of "this new game is incredible, you've got to try it." First impressions mean everything in life, and that's especially true in gaming. If players are left underwhelmed by what a game has to offer at launch, it's hard to change that opinion, and that's even if you're able to get them to give the game another shot at all. For the longtime Halo Infinite and Battlefield 2042 players, they're playing the best versions of these games that have ever existed, but unfortunately for the hundreds of thousands of potential fans out there, they'll never even give the game a second thought. After all, why would anyone want to play a game that's already 2 years old? But it's not just the older games that have this problem. Diablo 4 launched earlier this year, but once players wrapped up the main campaign, the game felt underwhelming and many players had already moved on, and for some, that's the last time they'll boot it up. Diablo's first season made some strides but failed to bring many players back, but Season of Blood is out now and brings a new questline, weapons, vampire abilities, and more. But will even Diablo 4 be able to win over any mindshare with so many new games having come out since the original game launched? Whether you're someone who comes back for every update to every game, or just jump from game to game every few weeks, the important thing is that you're enjoying the time you spend with the games that you play. More games, in fact even more entertainment in general, is trying to grab our attention from every angle, and only the best of the best will actually succeed. But for developers, it's harder than ever to win players back once that initial launch is gone and the game's time in the sun is done. As always, thanks for taking the time to watch this video. If you enjoyed the content and you like what you see or what you hear, be sure to drop a like down below and subscribe to the channel for weekly videos and gaming news shorts throughout the week, and I'll catch you on the next one.